The Church of St. Apostles Peter and Paul of mature Baroque style was completed in 1682–1684. Standing out in the main facade is an interesting double-section pediment, placed in different planes with a relief composition, and the sculptures of St. Augustine and St. Stanislaus incorporated into the facade. However, the interior, recognized as one of the most important masterpieces of the Baroque era in the Northern Europe, leaves the greatest impression. Italians Pietro Perti and Giovanni Galli worked at the molded decor of the interior. Moldings of stucco of various biblical and life stories are dominating here. The impressive frescoes have also remained. Tiles covered with convex helmet, incorporated into the corners of the fence surrounding the churchyard, are perfectly combined with the church. The arcade stretching from the sanctum's presbytery connects with the monastery house. This is a rare solution in Lithuania. Cross and cylinder vaults with lunettes have remained inside the buildings. The college, established by the Jesuit order in 1570 under the initiative of Steponas Batoras, was already converted into a university in 1579, which expanded to the adjacent buildings through time. The Gothic church of St. John, which belonged to the Jesuits, was reconstructed into the style of the late Baroque, according to the design of the architect Johann Christoph Glaubitz in 1738–1749. Due to the protrusions placed in different planes, which grow into columns, the main facade of the sanctuary creates an impression of moving waves typical of Baroque style. The complex of altars of Baroque forms present at the presbytery is often named to be the most impressive in the whole country. The interior is complemented with Baroque sculptures of the saints created by Hedel in the 18th century and a fresco incorporated above the grand altar depicting the beheading of St. John. The highest in Vilnius, the belfry of Church of St. John, is massive and static, gravely dominating the scenery of the old town. The northern block of the second university building was adapted to the observatory by Tomas Žebrauskas in 1752–1776. According to the project of the same architect, a chapel covering 2 floors was established at the 11th building. The 12th building has partially retained the Baroque plan structure, authentic characteristic window arches of the first floor. The new Baroque Dominican Church of St. Apostles Jacob and Philip started rising in 1690. This is the highest single-nave sanctuary in our country. Height equal to the length of the nave, as if visually neutralizes the quite high towers of the sanctuary. The magnificent interior volume is surrounded by the ensemble of altars created by the architect Joachim Herdegen and sculptor Josef Hedel. The church has retained examples of painting decor. The monastery house consists of 3 blocks. Here we observe the small windows and the massive cornice typical of buildings of such types. Dominikas Sluška has built himself a grand palace on the shore of Neris in 1690–1694. Later, the palace was reconstructed for a few times. Its function changed as well. The architectural historians consider the even much changed palace to be one of the best preserved examples of the Baroque palace. The Aginski Palace, built in the 18th century at the Arklių Street, have acquired its current classicist appearance in 1768. We can see the rather characteristic composition of the city's palace in the building. The windows are larger on the second floor and emphasized with a bulky cornice, and the middle part of the facade is protruded. Under the initiative of Ignacy Agiński, the buildings present at the Rudninkai Street were joined to a single palace building in 1768–1771. Here, the Baroque facades intertwine with the classicist forms.